let me introduce our guest here. Her name is Liz. Whitecarter. Is that right, Liz? Did I say
Oh,
that correct?
Wisecarver. Yep, just
Wise.
like it looks.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names. I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
Uh, so Liz has been gracious enough to give us a few moments of her time today to discuss the NFB Newsline. So, Liz, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into Newsline.
Yeah, sure. So, hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the invitation and hope that this will help you learn about NFB Newsline if you've never heard of it before, or for those of you who have signed up already, hope it'll give you a better idea of the sorts of things you can use it for. So, I'm Liz. I live in Houston, Texas, and I work for the National Federation of the Blind of Texas full time as the NFB Newsline Texas Coordinator. And so that's been a really fun job. I really enjoyed it. I get to travel, well, before the pandemic anyway, I got to travel around the state and come visit, various lighthouses and expos and conferences and just anywhere where blind people might be, and demonstrate NFB Newsline and let folks know that it's a free resource that's available. So it's been really great. We do a bunch of outreach programs that I'll mention a bit more about it during the presentation part. So hopefully we'll get to start meeting in person again soon, but we have been doing a lot over Zoom. So, I'm glad if we have to be at home that at least we have a resource like Zoom to be able to do things like this.
Certainly.
Um, yeah, so I guess other things about me in my free time, I really like paper crafting. I do card making and a little bit of scrapbooking and making some, 3D types of paper things like paper flowers and stuff like
How
that, wreaths.
fun. How fun.
And yeah, I just recently bought stuff to do tile mosaics. So that's coming in the mail. So going to try to pick up another skill.
Yeah.
So blind people can do art also. So
Absolutely. No, and it's so good to have something like that, a craft or a hobby, because when you're at home so often, you have those idle moments, and having something like that to work on, to be productive. I think hobbies are definitely good.
for sure. Okay, so I can go ahead and get into the demonstration if everybody's ready.
Hmm.
Um, I've got my camera on, but in all honesty, there's not a ton to see other than my smiling face, but I did want to have it on for folks that would like something to look at. Everything that I'm going to do to demonstrate NFB Newsline, I'll describe what devices I'm using, and you'll actually be able to hear it and hear that it's all a non-visual process. You're able to listen and be able to use the service that way. So let me tell you guys first a little bit about what NFB Newsline is and how you can get registered. So NFB Newsline is a free electronic information system that you can subscribe to. It's available 24/7. You're able to access the information on this system in several different ways. You can use a telephone, so like a landline phone. Today I've actually got just a nice office landline phone here that I'm going to show it to you on. But you can call on any type of phone. You can use an iPhone, a smartphone, an Android, a dumb phone, any kind of phone that you're able to dial. You're able to dial into NFB Newsline. You're also able to use it on the free iOS app. It's NFB Newsline Mobile for iPhones and iPads. You can use it on the computer online. You can use it on digital talking book players. So things like the free Talking Books programs, book player, or Victor Reader Streams. And our most recent addition is the Amazon Alexa skill. And I actually have an Amazon Echo here on the table. And if we have time, I'd like to show you how you can use this skill. So once you get signed up, you have access to hundreds of publications, over 500 different publications, tons of newspapers. So For example, there's about 14 Texas publications currently on the system. And so that includes things like the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, the Dallas Morning News, Houston Chronicle, Texas Monthly, Texas Observer, and others. You have access to all of the newspapers from other states. So, you know, maybe you've got family in Arkansas or California. You can check up on the papers in those states. We currently have 5 Spanish language newspapers on the service, and you can turn the telephone menus to Spanish. And we also post local content in Spanish. So when we have announcements and agendas for programs and things like that, we try to always post that in Spanish onto NFB Newsline as well. Outside of newspapers, there's over 90 magazines. The magazines really have something for everybody. There are things like Diabetic Living, there's the Rolling Stone, there's Reader's Digest, there's Stone Soup, which is a children's publication, Nonprofit Quarterly, Better Homes and Gardens, Jet, all sorts of different types of interests are represented in the magazines section. There's also blindness-specific information, such as the Braille Monitor, Future Reflections, the Talking Books, book reviews, things like that that are available to you. There are also weather alerts and forecasts, and that's really important right now with it being hurricane season, right? So with the forecasts, you're able to go onto NFB Newsline and read, you know, broken down by day, broken down by the hour, and even a whole bunch of different indexes that I didn't even know were a thing until I started looking at the weather on NFB Newsline. There's also weather alerts. So for example, if there was maybe a flood watch going on because of all the rain from these hurricanes, that warning is the very first thing that you would hear when you called into NFB Newsline or when you opened up the NFB Newsline mobile app. So it really gives you, you know, another way to be able to check information and stay safe that way. There are also job listings. So if anybody's looking for a job or knows anyone who's looking for a job, you're actually able to browse through Career Builder and USA Jobs and search them with custom searches, such as your zip code, the salary range that you want, if you want part-time, full-time, temporary, things like that, and the type of job cluster that you want. You know, maybe you're interested in an education field, maybe you're interested in admin. And so I'm going to show you guys how you can use NFB Newsline to make job searches. And that's a really powerful resource in my opinion. There are also TV listings. You can put in your TV provider and your time zone and zip code and be able to read the TV listings in your area out to 13 days in advance. So no more trying to squint at the little readout at the bottom of the TV screen to see what's coming up next. And there are also circulars from Target and Walmart, so you can look at ads. Around the holidays, we even add more circulars from different stores, so that's always kind of fun to look at, so you can do some Christmas shopping. We also have what we call local channels. These are an area where we can post our own content to NFB Newsline for everyone to read. And we really have been working hard to put a lot of useful information onto our local channels. As I mentioned, we do have Spanish content on our local channels. We have things such as our announcements for any events that we're hosting from NFB of Texas. We have some nonprofits posting information like TWC. We have some technology reviews and information that folks have written. All sorts of information is available on our local channel. I'd encourage you guys to check that out once you get signed up. And so how do you get signed up? Let's say you're not registered for NFB Newsline, or maybe you might be registered for NFB Newsline, but you don't know how you can access it. So that's going to be an easy fix. You are welcome to contact me. By phone, I can be reached on work days from 9 to 5. And then you're welcome to email me anytime. So I'm going to give you guys my work number. It's 281-968-7634. And again, that's 281-968-7634. And my email is lwisecarver@nfbtx.org. We also do have an online survey that you can fill out if you prefer. You're welcome to call me to fill it out over the telephone if that's easier, but if you'd like to fill it out online, that application is nfbtx.org/survey. We don't share your personal information. We don't, spam you or sign you up for ads or anything like that. We only use your contact information to get you registered for the NFB Newsline service and to get you those codes. And we may update you about events if you give us permission to do so. Also, you don't have to be affiliated with the National Federation of the Blind to use NFB Newsline. You might belong to another blindness organization or none at all, and that's just fine. It's for anybody who is legally blind or print disabled. So if you have any questions about who is or isn't eligible or getting signed up or retrieving your codes, you're welcome to get in touch with me after this presentation. Once you get registered, we are going to send you an email and a letter in the mail. We'll also give you a follow-up phone call in the future, and it's going to have a few numbers. It's going to have the NFB Newsline telephone number for you to call, and it's going to have your 6-digit ID and your 4-digit access code. Those codes are the ones that you'll use for NFB Newsline on any of the different platforms. So you'll use those same codes when you call on a telephone, when you log into the mobile app, when you use Amazon Alexa. It'll be those codes. You can use Newsline on multiple devices. So for example, maybe you're like me and you have a work phone and a personal cell phone. You can call it on both of those. There's not a limit. We do ask that you don't share your codes and information or the content of NFB Newsline with other people, even if they do qualify for Newsline, because we want to make certain that we're being respectful of the copyrighted material that these publications are providing us with. We don't want to share, our codes with people who maybe aren't legally blind or print disabled, and be respectful of that. So if you have someone who you think would qualify, recommend that they call me and we can chat and get them signed up so they have their own profile. So I'm going to do a demo first on the telephone, and then depending on time, I'm going to show you guys the Amazon Alexa skill and maybe the new version of the iPhone app. There's some really exciting things happening with the NFB Newsline mobile app that I want to mention, even if we don't get time to demonstrate it. So I have here on the table just a regular nice office phone with tactile buttons. It's kind of nice on a landline because you actually have the tactile buttons that you can feel of, yeah. But it works just fine on an iPhone or Android or any kind of phone as well. When I call in, you'll notice that NFB Newsline should remember that I've logged into my profile on this phone before. So it will not make me enter in my codes again. And that's really convenient because, it's a lot faster when you don't have to enter in your codes every time. After I get into my profile with NFB Newsline, we're going to hear the main menu. You'll notice the main menu gives you options such as for newspapers in your state, press 3. For favorites, press 4. For newspapers in another state, press 5. So you don't really have to memorize a bunch of numbers or feel like you have to write down every number I'm telling you to press. If you listen to the menus, they will actually tell you what buttons to press. So I think that's one of the things that's really nice about the telephone method in particular for getting started. Once we get through the main menu so that you guys can hear what the options are, I am going to find the New York Times, which is a national publication. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on speaker. If you guys cannot hear the voice very well on the phone, somebody please give me a shout out and let me know and I'll adjust the volume. Sure. So I'm going to go ahead and start. All right.
Welcome to NFB Newsline.
Para continuar en español, aprieta 2.
NFB Newsline is provided by the National Federation of the Blind along with state sponsors. To log in as Mrs. Wisecarver, press 1. To log in as a different subscriber, press 0.
So it remembers me, so I'm going to hit 1.
National Weather Service watches and warnings for your area. Alvin, Texas current watches and warnings include heat advisory. RIP current statement. To hear the detailed information, press 1. To continue on to Newsline, press 2.
And see, there was actually a weather alert for a heat advisory. I'm going to go ahead and press 2 to skip those details, but that's pretty cool that it was available.
Mrs. Wisecarver, please select from the following options. Main menu. To read NFB Newsline news and tutorials, press 1. To read your state's information channel, press 2. To read newspapers in your state, press 3. To enter your favorite list, press 4. To read newspapers in a different state, press 5. To read local store circulars, press 6. To read magazines, press 7. For TV listings, press 8. For job listings, press 9. For subscribers control panel including local phone number lookup and speech control, press 0. Main menu. Subscribe.
Okay, and so for every talking technology, you need to know how to make it hush, right? So on the telephone method for NFB Newsline, that'll be number 0. So that was our main menu. And if you don't know what to press when you come in, maybe the first time or when you're getting started, you can just wait a moment and it'll actually repeat those options for you. It's never hang up on you. You know, there's really no way for you to break it. So just kind of play with it and explore. If you somehow find a way to break it, you're always welcome to call me and I can help you out. So that was our main menu. As I said earlier, I want to find the New York Times. So to do that, when I'm in the main menu, I'm going to press number 5 for papers from another state. The New York Times is a national paper. So once I press number 5, it's going to give us a few different options for what kind of publication we want to locate. Now I'm going to press star, which is the bottom left key on the keypad. Star is like your back button. That'll get you back to the previous menu. So I'm going to hit star to get back to the main menu, and then I'm going to hit number 5.
Subscribe. Main menu.
Okay, 5.
Please select from the following regions. To select breaking news online, press 1. To select national newspapers, press 2. To select Spanish, press 3. To select magazines, press 4. To select national meetings of interest to the print disabled, press 5. To select international, press 6. For the end of the list, press 7. To hear this list again, press 8. For the next 6 items, press 9.
So I'm going to hit 2 for national.
Please select from the following content options. To select the Associated Press National, press 1. To select the Christian Science Monitor Online, press 2. To select the Forward, press 3. To select the Hill, press 4. To select the Investor's Business Daily, press 5. To select the New York Times, press 6. For the end of the list, press 7. To hear this list again, press 8. For the next 6 items, press 9.
Okay, 6 for the New York Times. And now it's going to ask which edition I want.
Please select from the following available issues. For the New York Times dated Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020, press 1. For the New York Times dated Tuesday, September 1st, 2020, press 2. For the New York Times dated Sunday, August 30th, 2020, press 3.
So you'll always have access to today's paper, yesterday's paper, and the last major issue, which is usually a Sunday paper. I'm going to press 1 for today, and then it's going to ask what section I'd like to read.
Please select from the following sections, or press 99 for continuous reading. Business, Financial Desk, press 10. Classified, press 11. Dining in, Dining out / Style Desk, press 12. Editorial Desk, press 13. Foreign Desk, press 14.
Let's see what's up in business.
In Business, Financial Desk, there are 13 articles in this section. Article 1, a top Fed official warns of continuing woes. By Gina Zimalek, Lael Brainerd, a Federal Reserve governor, said government support would be needed to support households and businesses as pandemic-induced pain continued. Washington, Lael Brainerd, a Federal Reserve governor, said on Tuesday that the U.S. economy remained at risk as the coronavirus pandemic wore on, and support from Congress and the White House would be crucial to cushioning the blow.
And again, I press 0 to pause. So that wasn't too many buttons I pushed, maybe about 6. And I am in today's business section of the New York Times. So once you get familiar with the system and kind of how it works, it's really not hard to locate different publications that you want to read. You can even set up a favorites list. So very similar to how you might set a bookmark on a website, you can actually mark your favorite publications. I saw a question come through on the text that says, can you change the speed and type of voice? Yes, you can. I'm actually going to show you guys how you can do that. So once you're in your article, that's the way that I like to do it, is in the article itself, so I can hear it reading it. You can change the speed, and you can even change the type of voice. So this is going to be the speed and the voice that you'll have when you very first start. This voice is called Paul, and it's a nice synthetic male voice. We also have a very nice female synthetic voice called Kate. And then there's there's Eloquence. For those of you who use JAWS, you'll remember Eloquence, of course. A lot of people really prefer Eloquence because of its response time too. And then there are a few others that we call tonal voices. They're kind of variances of Eloquence. The tonal voices might be helpful for folks that have a hearing loss. For example, people that maybe could hear higher frequency or lower frequencies better. So I'm going to show you guys how we can do that. So to speed up the voice, I will press number 9 several times. And then to slow it down, I'll press number 7 several times. So I'm going to hit 0 to let it play. And then I'll show you how to speed it up and slow it down.
There's a lot of uncertainty that continues to cloud the outlook.
So here's 9. I'm hitting it a few times.
Brainerd said at a Brookings Institution event, it is very important to many households and businesses that continue fiscal support, just as it was important to them in the early stages of this crisis.
Is that fast enough for everybody?
That's what our JAWS users out there would find that relatable.
So that's pretty quick. So now I'm going to press 7 to slow it back down.
Her comments came as the future of another government. Her comments came as the future of
another. You can go even slower.
Her comments came as the future of another government.
That's a little too slow. So I'm going to hit 9 again a few times.
Her comments came as the future of another government support package. Her comments came as the future of another government support package remain unclear.
How about that speed, you guys? That sound good? I think that's close.
I had a brief question.
Sure.
Would you be able to read line by line?
You are, yes. You can use numbers 4 and 6, and those will move you line by line so you can read it more exactly. You can also even email yourself a copy, which I'll show you guys how to do that once we get done with the voice controls. And then, you'd be able to have it on your computer and look at it that way if you preferred. And you'd be able to keep that copy of it. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to interact with this text. Since it's not, a recording of someone reading it, it is actual synthetic, text. So you can interact with it and have a lot more control than you would with just a voice recording of the news being read to you. I'm going to show you how to switch through the voices. So you may remember it's 9 and 7 to change the speeds. Number 8, which is right there in the middle, will change which voice it is. And you'll notice as I kind of talk about some of these navigations, a lot of it's like that, where the same row will have the same types of navigation. So I'm going to hit 8 a few times, and we'll rotate through the different voices for a moment just so you can kind of hear what they are.
Brainerd, who was appointed during
Brainerd, who was appointed during the Obama administration, said that monetary policy would also play a key role as pandemic uncertainty persisted.
Here's our tonals.
Who was appointed during the Obama administration, said that Brainerd, who was appointed during the Obama administration, said that monetary Brainerd, who was appointed during the Obama administration, said that Brainerd, who was appointed during the Obama administration,
That one's a
said that
smoker.
monetary policy would also play a key role.
Brainerd, who was appointed during the Obama
Those are
administration, said that monetary policy would also play a key role as pandemic uncertainty persisted.
Brainerd, who was appointed during.
And now we're back to the one that we started with.
You have a lot of variety. That's very nice.
Yeah, and one of the nice things about having your own account with NFB Newsline is once you fix the voice the way that you like it, it will actually remember those settings for you. So when you come back to use NFB Newsline, you won't have to sit there and change the speed or the pitch or anything like that again. So that's one benefit, is that you have customization. It's really a pretty customizable experience. You can pick the device that you're on, you can change the voices, you can set your favorites up. So you have a lot of control over what you're getting. I do want to show you guys how you can email yourself a copy. And also how you can skip around. How, you know, maybe you're tired of this particular first article. Maybe you want to move on and see what else is in the business section today. So to email yourself a copy, on the telephone, you hit #9. It'll give you the option of sending yourself just the article. I like to send myself the article because it just pastes the text right into the body of your message. You can also send yourself the section of the paper. So in this case, it'd be the business section, or the entire edition of the paper. If you do that, it will come to you as an attachment. So I'm going to go ahead and press #9 so you guys will see what that is like.
Brainerd, who was appointed.
#9.
Please indicate what part of this content you would like to receive by email. To receive just the current article, press 2. To receive just the current section, press 3. To receive the full issue, press 4.
Okay, so I'm going to hit 2 for the article.
You should receive your requested content shortly at wisecarver@nfbtx.org. If this is not your correct email address, please call 866-504-7300 to correct it. Press 1 to continue, or press 2 to hear this information repeated. Brainerd, who was appointed.
All right. And so if you didn't have an email when you got registered, or if you'd like to update your email, you're welcome to give me a call or shoot me an email, and we can get that fixed for you very easily. So let's say, again, you're done with this article, you're sick of it. Maybe there's something else in this section. Right. You don't have to read the whole thing. You know, just like a sighted person isn't going to necessarily read a paper cover to cover, you don't have to either. You can skip to the things that you're interested in.
Peruse the highlights.
Oh, yes, exactly. So to skip to the next article in this section, all you do is press #3. And you'll notice it tells you, when we came into this section, it told us, I believe there were 10 articles, and it has the articles, it'll tell a number. That kind of gives you a good idea of how much content you have and that you're going through. So I'm going to press 0 to let it play, and then I'll hit 3.
Brainerd, who was appointed during the Article 2, another person is linked to Twitter hack. He's 16 by Nathaniel Popper. On Tuesday, federal agents served in Massachusetts.
3.
Article 3, CDC, imposes moratorium on evictions of renters financially hurt by pandemic, by Matthew Goldstein.
I hit 0. If you want to go back, let's say you want to go back to that article about the teenager being involved in the Twitter hack, you'll just press #1 to go back. If you press #2, it will restart the article that you're currently on from the beginning. And so again, you'll kind of notice all those navigations are in the row together. So that kind of helps me as I'm thinking about what I want to accomplish and what the different buttons do. There is a user guide available on the telephone method under option #1. So when you're in the main menu, you can just press #1, and then you'll hear the user guide as one of your options. And I can actually show you guys where that's at, just so you know how to get to it. But I would recommend play with it, see what happens when you do different buttons, because you're not going to break it. And if you have any issues, you can give me a call, and I'd be happy to help you get to what you're needing. So oh my goodness, it's already about 20 minutes till. I want to show just super quickly I guess we'll jump to the Amazon Alexa skill.
That would be wonderful.
That's the, like, when I started with this, I'm like, how am I going to talk about Newsline for a whole hour? And now it's like, I need longer than an hour.
Dive. There's a lot to cover, so but
exactly.
You're fine. Let's go right ahead.
All right, so I hung up the phone and I have an echo here. If you have an echo in your house, you might want to mute yours right now because we're going to say the A-lady's name. The skill for NFB Newsline is going to be called National Federation. So you'll want to remember that particular little call phrase is National Federation. So when you have your codes and you're ready, you can tell your Echo, Alexa, enable National Federation. And she'll download the skill for you so you can start reading. It will ask you for your 6-digit ID and your 4-digit access code. It'll be the same ones that you've used for the telephone or other devices. One thing I thought was really cool is that you're able to just speak your codes to the Echo. You don't have to type it on the phone or anything. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the Amazon skills want you to use your phone sometimes for things like that. Once you're logged in, you can just speak to Alexa and ask her for the publication you want. And I'm going to show you how we can do that, and also how you can do what I just did on the telephone. You can skip to different sections and different articles and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute her, and we'll see if we can hear her pretty well. Alexa, hello.
Hello.
All right, that volume
Enjoy your morning.
Pretty good. Alexa, ask National Federation to read the Houston Chronicle.
Welcome back to NFB Newsline, brought to you by the National Federation of the Blind, along with state sponsors. Howdy. Welcome to NFB Newsline Texas. Join us in person or on Zoom for an Arlington open house September 12th at Lake Church to learn more about NFB Newsline. Check the Texas Information Channel to read more about this event. Call 281-968-7634 or email Liz at wisecarver@nfbtx.org for assistance or to RSVP reading in Houston Chronicle dated September 2nd, 2020. In the entertainment section of the Houston Chronicle, there is one article in this section. Article 1, Rodeo supports students in technical fields with $300 K in vocational scholarship.
Oh, very
Shelby
cool.
Stewart, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo
Alexa,
is known for its...
Ask National Federation to use voice Paul.
According to the press release from HLSR, this year, more than $27 million has been committed to scholarships, junior show exhibitors,
Alexa,
educational...
Ask National Federation to read a little faster.
Houston Zoo reopens after a 3-day power outage. By Marcy DeLuna. The Houston Zoo is back in business after being closed for 3 days
Alexa,
due to a power...
Ask National Federation to read the next section.
In the news section of the Houston Chronicle, there are 5 articles in this section. Article 1, NC Governor's Race Sets Pace for Democrats in the Suit. Brian Anderson, Associated Press Report for America.
Alexa, next.
Article 2, Tillman Fertitta donates $1 million to help Landry's employees affected by Hurricane Laura. By Marcy DeLuna.
All right, so that is pretty quickly how you can navigate through the different articles and different sections. You know, when you want a different paper, you just ask for it. So let's see.
Employees of Lake
Alexa,
Charles Relief Fund.
Ask National Federation to read the New York Times.
Reading in New York Times dated September 2nd, 2020. In the Business Financial Desk section of the New York Times, there are 13 articles in this section. Article 1, a top Fed official warns of continuing woe. By Gina Zimalek. Lael Brainerd.
Alexa, stop. And so now, you know, we came back to the same content we were reading on the phone. And so that just shows you, you can read it on whichever device you have or whichever one you prefer. It's kind of a good way to practice assistive technology for, any folks who are maybe new to using screen readers or using a touch screen phone, because the skill and the app and the website and the telephone method, they're really, really clean. They don't have like pop-ups. There's not like radio buttons and different things to have to scroll through. It gets you straight to that information. So that is one way you can actually practice your assistive tech.
Certainly, with the Alexa, it's nice. Oops, I said her name.
Oh, it's okay. She's muted now.
we call her Lady A because
exactly
for that very reason. What's nice is that it's hands-free. That there's no buttons to push. There's no keystrokes to memorize. It's all verbal prompts. I was not aware that there was a skill for that. So that's a excellent resource. Also, I was just curious, would there be a way to find out through Newsline what TV stations broadcast with audio narration or described narration for the blind?
Yes, so we didn't get time to look at the TV listing feature, but as you scroll through it, it will show you a description of like the television show. So if the TV guide provided the information, it'll read all of it. And that includes if it has audio description. And so, I've read through where it says, I don't know, Family Guy on Fox at 7:30, and then it'll give a little synopsis of the episode and then audio described. So yes, it can tell you which programs will have that feature available.
And so if one had audio narration or audio description enabled in their settings on the television, then just like with closed captioning, that program would broadcast with that narration in tandem.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wonderful. That is fantastic. It's a wonderful resource, and there's so much that I'm sure there's more we could discuss. But I know we have some folks out there listening live. I wonder if we might have any questions. We just briefly, if you would like to ask Liz a question, you can do Alt-Y on your computer, and if you're listening via phone, you could do *9 to raise your hand, and we will unmute you, and you can ask a question. So, Rebecca, do we have any questions?
We do. Go ahead, James.
Yes, Liz. Is there a way to request our local newspaper be available through the Newsline?
Yes. So I'll give you a long and a short answer for that one. Yes, you can. Our national office does keep track of requests. You're welcome to go ahead and just email me or give me a call after this and let me know if there's something specific, and I can go ahead and pass it along for you if that'd be easier. The way that it works is that, for example, the NFB of Texas is one of the sponsors toward NFB Newsline in this state. And so we do pay some money to keep publications maintained on the system. So that's why every single publication in the whole state isn't available at this moment. That's part of the reason, is because, we're trying to get things that have interest, that lots of people would be able to benefit from. So, for example, if you have a whole bunch of people, maybe you have a chapter in that area, or other blind guys there that use Newsline and would like that same paper, let our national office and or me know. And if we get a lot of interest in a particular publication, that would make the process faster for us to, pursue that publication, start communicating with them about them sharing the content and getting that set up. So yes, we can take requests for publications, and that definitely is tracked and considered.
Good question. Good question. All right. Any other questions, Rebecca?
Not currently.
Okay.
One thing I'd suggest, I know there's a lot of folks that are maybe in, rural or smaller areas and your paper isn't on the service. What I would suggest is maybe try to find this city's paper that's closest to you. So for example, when I moved to Texas, I was in College Station for a few years, and the College Station paper wasn't available on the service. So I usually would look at the Houston Chronicle, just because it was closest to me at the time. So that's one suggestion I would give you.
Any other questions or comments for Ms. Liz? I hope those of you out there listening, either live or via YouTube, when this comes up later, will reach out to Ms. Liz and get signed up. I think this is a powerful resource, especially the job seeker component of it. That's a great tool too for folks out there looking for work, I would imagine.
Definitely.
We have a couple of questions, Kevin. In the chat, Brooke asks, is there access through the Google Home device?
Yeah, so there is not currently a specific like app or skill for the Google Home, but you can actually do it. And I don't have a Google Home myself, so I might be not telling you the commands quite properly, but I can get you more info on that if you want to, contact me afterward. But what you can do is you tell her to call the phone number. So like, for example, you could tell her to call 713-338-2777. And so she'll call that phone number as a telephone call, and then you can tell her which numbers to press. I believe you have to say like, hey, Google, press number 5 or something like that. But you are able to give her the command as though it's a telephone and she's pressing the buttons for you. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a workaround way to go into NFB Newsline on your Google, even though there's not currently a particular skill set for it.
Okay.
James has another question. Go ahead, James.
Actually, Brooke just asked it, so never mind.
Good, I hope that answered it for you.
The smartphone app is available for Samsung as well, correct? For Android phones?
We don't currently have an Android app. The app right now is only available for like iPhone and iPad, but you can still access NFB Newsline on an Android phone or another kind of smartphone, either by going onto your browser and looking at it, online, and that's at nfbnewslineonline.org, or you can always call it on the telephone. So you are still able to access it, but there's not currently an app.
I see.
One other thing I want to mention, actually I've got a couple things, and somebody cut me off if we have more questions, but we do have information related to the COVID-19 pandemic on NFB Newsline. So there's a whole breaking news section for that currently that pulls any information that's been mentioned in an article. If it has the words COVID-19 or coronavirus, it brings all of that together in one area for you to read through. So you can do things like track if there's outbreaks in your particular area or see what is being said about it. And that's in the breaking news section. We also have made a local channel, which those are under option number 2 on the telephone. We've made a local channel where we've tried to post different blindness resources that have been available, different information about coronavirus that are, local to Texas. So that's another way it can help you stay safe and informed. And I do want to mention quickly some of our events that we have. We were going in person and doing events, but now we've switched to mostly pretty much everything's virtual. We do have what we call an open house coming up on September 12th that our Arlington chapter is hosting. An open house is kind of similar to this. We'll have someone demonstrating the service and answering questions. That's going to be September 12th, I believe, from 1 to 3. And that's happening in person and virtually, so you could attend on Zoom. You can find out about that at nfbtx.org. or in the local channels on NFB Newsline Texas. We also have a really cool event geared towards students that's coming up on September 19th. We're calling that event Reaching for the Future, Blind Students at School and Beyond. And that's an event that's sponsored by NFB Newsline, so it will include a Newsline demonstration, but we're also going to have a panel of blind students to talk about their experiences, what's been helpful for them at school and college, what kind of resources they used, and to answer audience questions. And so that's happening September 19 from 3 to 5. And you can also find that on our website, nfbtx.org. That one, we are asking for an RSVP, but it's just a really quick form that's asking for your name and your contact information. And then we will send you the Zoom login information. So those are a couple events.
Absolutely.
The NFB of Texas State Convention is going to also be virtual. That's coming up November 6th through 8th. And the registration is now free. So we'll have a whole bunch of NFB Newsline content during our state convention. So I'd like to invite you guys to join us, and it's free, so you can't beat that price. So.
No, not at all. 0.00, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of events, I think you guys are going to share some invites to some of our content as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll get with you guys. All you really have to do is email it to me, and we'll set up a specific channel in our local channels so that you know, people who are interested in lighthouse activities can go there and see announcements as well.
Yeah,
that'll be a great resource.
Yeah, that way, you know, if somehow those of you listening out there, maybe you've overlooked an invite, or you missed one, or you're not sure, this would be kind of a second, a backup, if you will, to double check and say, hey, you know, what's Kevin and Sean talking about this week, or when's Ask the Blind Guys, so that will be on there as well. And we greatly appreciate you guys being willing to do that.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. You've had us come do some events like this, and that helps us out too. So
it's a win-win, right?
Exactly.
Any other questions or comments for Miss Liz? Any comments in the chat, Miss Rebecca?
No.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you, Liz, for taking time out of your day to come visit with us. And I think I've learned a lot today. I think this is a powerful resource to have at one's disposal. And we will be including your contact info. Usually we send out an email that will summarize the week's events, and in there we'll have your email address and phone number to our client base, so they can contact you if they don't know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, excellent. And you guys, please feel free to reach out. I know I threw a whole bunch of info at you right now. So, you know, maybe kind of digest it, maybe check out NFB Newsline if you're already registered, or get in touch with me to get signed up. Happy to help. Oh, I saw some sort of a question about talking books come through, I think. Did we have a question on the chat?
Is there a question about talking books, Rebecca?
Tina said the talking book program can sign up people as well.
Yes, they can. That is true. They may, they'll refer you to me if like you need your codes or have specific questions, but they can sign folks up. Thank you for adding that.
Yeah, that's great. All right, well, if there's no other questions or comments, we're gonna close today. And again, thank you, Liz. You've been very informative, very helpful, and hopefully you'll come back in the future and share some more with us.
Oh, for sure. Please let me know. We could do, you know, more. There's a ton more we didn't get to. We could do a whole session on just job searches. So
absolutely, yeah, that's a great topic. Yeah, I mean, be revisiting that too. So, all right, y'all out there, y'all be safe. Take care.